You know what? I'm an idiot. I was wildly overthinking this thing. Turns out, a little piece of wood right there, and it's a perfectly useful holder for this. And if I want it to be portrait, yeah, that's all I need to do. So I'll be finishing this up, and I just got to trim up these pieces so everything fits nicely. And I honestly can probably just glue and clamp that. I don't think that even needs to have a joinery in it. Well, that's what happens. Hello, and welcome to my shop, such as it is. I am here with my tablet holder that I have completely overthought, as I might or might not post before this. I was thinking of making all these intricate panels that would go on here, and then I realized that'll be plenty. Like, genuinely, it'll sit right here and balance right there in either landscape or portrait mode. I don't need to do anything more complicated than that. And it occurred to me, I can just glue this on. Like, that's not going to be under any real strain. If I run a bead of PVA across there and clamp it down hard, that is going to be more than strong enough. But then I got to thinking about what I'm doing here and why. Right now, this is not about making things. This is about learning and developing woodworking skills. So I'm going to do some joinery on this. And what I'm going to attempt is a sliding mortise and tenon. Now, for those of you who don't know, a mortise is just a groove, like a rectangular trough. With the grain is a groove, across the grain is a dado, and along the edge is a rabbet with an E. A tenon is just a post that slots into that groove. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut a mortise along here. I'm going to do that, I think, with my router. And the reason I'm doing that first is because it's going to be easier to size the tenon to the mortise than it is to size the mortise to the tenon. Because once I get that mortise in there, I can start taking a little bit off each edge of this post to make a proper size tenon, and then if it's a little too big, I can shave a little more and just kind of creep on up to the fit. So that's the plan. Let's get started. Okay, I have my miter table here, but I'm not going to be able to do this because clearly there's no way that's going to reach the miter table. If I was doing it like along this edge or doing it, you know, before I glued these together, it would be fine. So since that's not going to work, I'm going to have to pull the router out, put its collar back on, and see if we can route along there that way. So I've got this all set up. A little bit better of an angle here. I've got this for a spacer, and I put this in right here. That sits at just about the right angle, which you cannot see. Let me lower this down a bit. Yeah, that might be a better angle for what I'm doing. Except this is going to blow sawdust all over the camera, but that's fine. So we've got a nice angle right here. Here we go. Now you can see the angle. So we've got a nice distance here to the edge. This, as I mentioned at the beginning, is oak, which is very hard. So I'm only going to go down a little bit with the router bit. I'm going to make a light pass, then a little bit deeper, then a little bit deeper, till we go, we don't have to go very deep. Maybe halfway. Anyway, time to get noisy. Like butter. Nice and smooth. All right. Let's extend that bit a little bit more and make another pass. That's lovely. This is probably deep enough for this application, but let's go just a little bit deeper. Right, look at that. That is lovely. So now we need to trim just enough off each side of this to get it slot down into there. Now, okay, in all fairness, that's way too wide. I should have gone with a much more narrow mortise on that, or even just done a rabbet. But you know what? This is a learning process. That's what I'm here for. Let's go to the next step. All right, here we are back up at the router table. I gotta tell you, I'm tempted to get another one of these trim routers, just so when I want to switch back and forth between the table and using the router by itself, I don't have to pull it out of this whole thing. Anyway, we're going to use the fence. Let's see. Let's see if we can figure out how much we need to take off of here. That looks like 1/8 of an inch. Do we have centimeters? We do. Looks like about 6 centimeters. Now I think this base is calibrated in centimeters. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, but there's numbering right here. So we want to come out, actually, you know what, let's just check. Yes, so that's supposed to be centimeters. Although, okay, that looks pretty close. So we want to do 3 centimeters on each side. 1, 2, 3. So it's 5, 4, 3 is going to be right there. So there's 2 showing. We're on the 3rd. Let's cover up the 3rd line. It should be undercutting just a little bit. All right, now I'm going to see if I've got that square. I'm going to try and make sure that the plate is square to the face. Hard to say for sure. I think that's good enough. All right, now the other question is, how deep are we going? I think I might be able to just eyeball this. Oh, except that's backwards. All right. Let's see how deep we want to go here. Looks like 6 centimeters or so, or just about 1/4 of an inch, just a little over 1/4 of an inch. So nope, up you go. Let's go with 1/4. And we can always go a little deeper if we need to. Well, that's not right. I'm going right down the center of the thing there. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Because what I want is you know what I need to do? This is what I need to do. Are we unplugged? We are unplugged. I'm going to rotate. So I'm going to rotate the deepest part of the cutter right here. Push this board against it. Check my measurement back there. Okay, so that's going to cut right at the board. So I want this fence to go that way 3 millimeters, roughly. 1, 2, 3. Right there. Oops. Come on. Steady, steady. It's a little tricky because there's like nothing securing it right now. So I've got to kind of secure it with my hand as I tighten the screws. All right, that's what I want to do. This is why you should always check before you actually start your cut, because you might have something completely wrong. All right, there we go. That's what we want to do. Safety equipment on. Breather mask. Breather mask, especially with the router, because it just blows stuff everywhere. Eye protection. Hearing protection. PPE is on. Plug it in. Power's on. And with the router on here, we want to feed that way. Are you seeing this? It is literally snowing sawdust. All right, still a touch too wide. Just barely. So what we're going to do, I'm going to nudge it back like just over the line. Like right about there. All right. Okay, width-wise, it looks like we got our fit. Depth-wise, we're not quite there yet. Now, this is going to be tricky. Okay. I got my width perfect. It's not centered in the board, but that's fine for this. But the width is fantastic. Oh, that's super snug. Very happy with that part. Unfortunately, I did cut it a little too deep. I don't know if you can see, it's sitting a little proud right here. And I think I can just fix that with the router. I think I can just trim some of this bottom off. We'll get there eventually. It's a learning process. It looks like it's about, oh, maybe we should do this one in centimeters, huh? 2 centimeters. Yeah, so we want to trim 2 centimeters off the bottom. Wow, that's in there. That might almost be a little too tight if I'm going to glue it. Yeah. Let's go just a hair deeper on that side. Okay. Now I think I just unplugged it. I think yeah, I want a taller bit in there. This is, it's really close to being what I need for that, but not quite. So actually, let's get out our premium bit. Just lost in this mess somewhere. Yeah, it's my Bosch bit. It's the only expensive bit that I have. Moderately expensive. It was like 20 bucks. Whoopsies. That should be high enough. Okay. So that's going to do the whole bottom of that tenon. Now we have to move the fence that way. We're unplugged. We are unplugged. That's just about touching. So we want to go that way about 2 centimeters. All right, let's try this. Well, that was dumb. I forgot that as I cut this away, this side is going to be more shallow than this side. And I ended up kind of screwing up the cut. So we've got a high point around here I need to take down. All right. Lesson learned, but I got there in the end. It's not a terrible fit. So I'm going to unplug that. I'm just going to leave the bit in there. I'll just drop this down so the bit's not sitting proud. And we'll get the vacuum out. Oh, okay then. Here we are. Not terrible. And you know what? Again, I'm learning all of this. This is the point, is to develop these skills. Not to just automatically have them from the get-go. It is a little off-center, but in this application I can live with that. That's really not a problem. And the right to left dimensions, the width, is chef's kiss. Spot on. So I'm very happy with that. So all that remains for this bit of project is to glue and clamp. Easier said than done with this stupid glue bottle. I need to figure out some kind of application system. And I've got some basting brushes, but they're much too big for this. Get like a separate pot or something. See if we can just drizzle a little bit in there. and work it back and forth with the tenon itself. Oh yeah, there we go. That was a nicely controlled little bit. Let's see if we can do the same thing this way. Excellent. Oh, now you're working? What else? Squish. What if I can do a rub joint here? One of the guys I was watching was talking about rub joints where you move the two pieces back and forth until the glue just bonds and you don't have to clamp. I mean, I'm going to clamp this one anyway. Guess not. All right. Clamp Nation. All right. I'm going to put a clamp in the middle there. Okay. We'll let that cure overnight, and that will be that. Good morning. Welcome to my studio, such as it is. This has been drying overnight. Drying's not really the right word. Setting up, curing's not the right word either for plain old PVA wood glue. But it has been doing whatever PVA glue does when it does its thing. Self-reflection time. When you're trying to improve at something, honestly looking at what you've done and seeing where it's short of where it should be and where you can improve is really, really important. You have to be honest with yourself or let other people be honest with you if you're going to get better at what you're trying to do. And I definitely want to get better at what I'm trying to do. So, pros and cons. Let's start by checking my angles, shall we? It's not going to fit in there. So, as I can tell, we're a little off. We're a little off from, well, yeah, we're a little, like less than a millimeter off square there. I can do better, and I will do better, but it's good to know. And in this particular application, that is absolutely sufficiently close. What about this one? See, it's a little hard to tell because I can't really get in there. That one seems to be pretty square. This edge here is just a little proud. I can probably fix that on a router. This edge here is flush. which means my cut was off just a little bit. That could be done better by cutting one piece, stacking on top of the second piece, and smidging just a trim off the first piece. That way you know you're precisely the same width. This is obviously correct because this came off the same piece. Our dowel joint. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. We're a little bit proud here and ever so slightly less proud over on this side. So the board is actually canted this way just a tiny bit. This was my first time using the dowel jig, so I was kind of learning and I wasn't as worried about being precise with it, but doweling is something you need to be very, very precise with. So a little bit of work there to get some more precision with that. Both of these miners can be fixed, especially in something as simple as this. Potentially sanded down. I don't know, this is oak. I haven't tried sanding it yet. This is a really nice hardwood. It's like, I almost don't want to put a finish on this. The grain is so tight, it almost feels finished as it is. I might rub it down with a little bit of Dutch oil. We've got a little glue drizzle going on there. So I should be more careful about cleaning up the squeeze out while it's still wet. That's definitely something that needs to happen. Other than that, I think it came out all right. Not too shabby. But precision is really, and that's something I've always struggled with, and it's something I think I'm getting closer to now. So precision is a goal. Oh, the route. Very happy with how I got the width here, the side-to-side dimensions. Up-down dimensions, I kind of screwed up, but the side-to-side dimensions is really tight. I don't know if you can see that. Get that close to the camera there. That is about as proper as you could hope for, and I'm very, very, very happy with that. Definitely have to keep in mind some of the routing techniques, like when you're taking that full strip off. I know I saw a video somewhere where someone was talking about that. But doing it where I cut the mortise first, I could have used a thinner mortise too, but a more narrow mortise. Cutting the mortise first and then doing the tenon in this worked really well. I think it would have been very hard to try and get that mortise to the right dimension. It was much easier to get the tenon to the right dimension, as I thought it would be. Anyway, that's it for this project. I'll see you on the next one.